It is 3 in the morning on the African savanna, and something is wrong. A lioness lifts her head. She has not made a kill. She has not caught a scent of prey, but she knows, with total certainty, that she is being watched. 20 meters behind her, hidden in grass barely taller than a house cat, a pair of amber eyes are locked onto her every move. They do not blink, they do not look away, and they have been there on and off for the last 6 hours. This is not a predator stalking prey. This is something far stranger. This is a jackal, and it has been following this lion pride for 3 days straight, waiting for something that most animals would never dare wait for, the chance to eat from the table of the most dangerous hunter in Africa. For decades, wildlife cameramen dismissed this as coincidence. Jackals are scavengers, they said. They just happen to wander near lions sometimes. But when researchers finally strapped GPS collars onto black-backed jackals in Kenya's Masai Mara, the data revealed something that changed how we understand this relationship forever. These jackals were not wandering. They were tracking, deliberately, patiently, and with a level of calculated risk that seems almost impossible for an animal 1/10 the size of its target. A lion can kill a jackal in under 2 seconds, one swipe, one bite, and yet here they are, night after night, walking a tightrope between starvation and death, choosing to live in the shadow of the very animal that could end them in an instant. So why would any creature choose to shadow its own executioner? The answer begins with a brutal truth about life on the savanna. Finding food alone is one of the most dangerous gambles an animal can make. A jackal hunting solo might spend an entire night chasing hares and ground birds, burning more energy than it gains, all while exposed to hyenas, leopards, and eagles that see a lone jackal as an easy meal. But a lion pride hunting a buffalo or a zebra is a different story entirely. When 200 kilograms of muscle brings down a wildebeest, the carcass produces far more meat than even a large pride can finish in one sitting. And that surplus, that leftover flesh clinging to bone, is exactly what the jackal has been waiting for. But here is where the story gets genuinely strange, and where most nature documentaries stop too early. Because the jackal is not simply waiting for lions to finish eating and wander off. It is doing something almost unthinkable. It is walking directly into the kill zone while the lions are still feeding, sometimes just meters from a lioness with blood on her muzzle, testing the exact boundary of how close it can get before the warning becomes an attack. Camera trap footage from the Serengeti has captured jackals darting in, snatching scraps, and retreating in fractions of a second, over and over, an animal playing a game where losing means death, and there is no second chance. How do they know when it is safe? This is the part that stunned researchers. Jackals appear to read lion body language with a precision that borders on eerie. The position of a lion's ears, the tension in its shoulders, whether its tail twitching slow and lazy, or flicking fast and sharp. A slow swishing tail on a resting lion means low alert, a green light. A fast, jerking tail means the lion's patience is running out, and that is the signal to vanish into the grass before the charge even begins. Jackals that misread these signals do not get a warning shot. They get a broken spine, or worse, which means every single jackal you see trailing a lion pride today is, by definition, one of the ones who read the signs correctly. The ones who guessed wrong are simply not there anymore. But following lions is not only about scraps after a kill. There is a second, darker reason jackals attach themselves to prides, and it has nothing to do with the lion's generosity and everything to do with their fear. Lions are apex predators, yes, but they are also magnets for danger to smaller animals nearby, because their presence pushes competing predators away. A hyena clan will not casually approach a feeding lion pride. A leopard will abandon its own kill rather than risk confrontation. In this strange arithmetic of the wild, the safest place for a jackal to be is not far from lions, but uncomfortably close to them, inside a bubble where other predators fear to enter, even though the lions themselves remain lethal. And then there is the sound. If you have ever heard a jackal's call cut through the darkness of the African night, that eerie, rising shriek, you have heard something that plays a far more important role than most people realize. Jackals possess a warning call specifically for the presence of leopards, a call so distinct that other animals on the savanna have learned to recognize it as a leopard alarm. Some researchers believe lions have learned to recognize it too. A jackal shrieking in the darkness might be signaling danger, or it might, in a far more calculated way, be signaling opportunity, drawing the pride's attention toward prey it has already spotted, in the hope of sharing the kill that follows. Is this intentional cooperation, or is it simple coincidence exploited by an opportunistic mind? Scientists are still divided, and that uncertainty is exactly what makes this relationship so hypnotic to study. Consider what this means. An animal without claws capable of piercing lion hide, without the raw strength to defend itself in open combat, without the size to intimidate anything larger than a jackrabbit. And yet it has built an entire survival strategy around embedding itself into the world of Africa's deadliest land predator, using patience, observation, and precise risk calculation instead of brute force. In a sense, the jackal has weaponized intelligence itself, turning proximity to danger into its greatest advantage. This relationship is not constant friendship, and it is not constant war. It shifts hour by hour based on hunger, mood, and circumstance. A lion that has just eaten might allow a jackal to approach within a few body lengths without so much as a growl. The same lion, hungry and irritable an hour later, might launch a lethal charge at the same jackal for coming within 30 meters. This means every jackal shadowing a pride is running constant, split-second risk assessment, recalculating the danger level again and again throughout a single night, because a single miscalculation is fatal and there is no room for a second mistake. And it is not just the adult jackals playing this game. Females with pups face an even harsher version of this calculation. A den full of hungry pups means a mother jackal cannot afford to hunt cautiously and come home empty-handed. She needs a reliable, high-calorie food source, and a lion kill, dangerous as it is, provides exactly that in a single trip. Some of the boldest jackal behavior ever documented on camera comes from mothers taking risks near feeding lions that a solitary, well-fed jackal would never attempt, driven by a hunger that is not their own. What makes this even more remarkable is what happens after the meat is gone. Once a lion pride abandons a carcass, jackals do not simply vanish back into the grasslands. Many continue trailing the same pride for days, sometimes longer, tracking their movement patterns, learning their resting spots, essentially building a long-term relationship with a specific group of lions whose habits they have come to understand. This is not random opportunism. This is closer to strategy, closer to a hunter studying prey, except in this case, the jackal is studying safety, studying access, studying the entire social unit whose next move might determine whether it eats tomorrow or starves. So the next time you watch footage of a jackal slinking through tall grass, behind a pride of lions, understand that you are not looking at a lucky scavenger stumbling onto an easy meal. You are looking at one of the most sophisticated risk-reward strategies in the natural world, an animal that has learned to read the subtlest signals of the deadliest predator on the continent, calculating survival in real time, meter by meter, breath by breath. One wrong read of a lion's body language, one moment of misplaced confidence, and the jackal that has survived 100 close calls will not survive the 101st. And that is precisely why this dance between predator and follower continues, night after night, across the entire savanna, right now, while you are reading this. Somewhere out there in the dark, a jackal is watching a lion's tail, waiting for the signal, calculating the exact moment to move. And whether it lives to see sunrise depends entirely on how well it has learned to read the one animal on Earth that could kill it without even trying.